Welcome back to another episode of Navigation Nowhere. My name is Michael, and if you've been following along with our recent build series, you know that we just started installing all of our kitchen cabinets. And today what I wanted to do was something a little bit different and talk about the systems that we're going to be installing to those cabinets and do it with just a little bit of holiday cheer. This video is brought to you by Jackery. Stay tuned later on in the video to find out how you can get your portable power generator for 10% off. Today we're going to go through a bunch of these different components such as solar, demolition, electrical, plumbing, and cabinet making. And the reason why we're going to be doing this is because I know for myself, everyone's always asking me, hey Mike, what can I get you for the holiday season? And typically my answer is always, I don't know, nothing, I don't need anything. But the truth is that if I'm building a school bus and you were to get me any of these components such as a DC panel, a water pump, or an electrical solar system, I'm not going to complain about that. So today I wanted to go through these basic components and share with you what the basic breakdowns are, and maybe you can find something that might interest yourself or the bus builder in your life. So the first set of tools that we're going to look at are going to actually be a lot of these more fine craftsmanship tools that I just recently used in my previous video to build out these cabinets. Now some of the main tools that we use are a pocket hole jig, which we can see right here. Now what this is going to do is give you the ability to have concealed screws so that you don't have any revealed screws in your cabinet work. Also, it's going to give you a much stronger bond through the corners than screwing directly into the end grain of your wood. One tool that I haven't been able to use yet in my particular build, but I will be in future videos, is this concealed hinge jig. Now what this is going to do is turn my drill into a drill press and line up all of my holes for my concealed hinges in these cabinets perfectly, and I don't have to keep lining them up or doing pre-measurements. This is going to do all the work for me. Once we have our cabinets completely built, the last thing that we want to do is finish off all of our edges. Now when you build out cabinets, you might realize that you have plywood edges revealed on all of your front faces, and one way to cover that up is with edge banding. In this particular project, we're using 1/2" birch, so we have 1/2" edge banding. And the way that we use this is we lay it on the face of our plywood, use an iron, glue it on, and then we use one of these really fancy edge banding cutters, which then cleans up all the edges so that it's completely flat with the 1/2" plywood. So if you're looking to increase the quality of your build with minimal experience, consider picking up some of these jigs to help you out in your project. So when we're talking about solar systems, it can obviously, I'm sure you've done your research, get very complicated because there's tons of information out on the internet about inverters, batteries, MPPT controllers, and wiring. And for some of you out there, maybe the family of 4 or someone who's building a 40-foot school bus, that might be the option that you have to go with. But you don't necessarily have to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars to get those systems. If you're someone who's living in a small bus, a truck bed camper, an SUV camper, or just looking to go on road trips and go camping, a portable power generator might be the best option for you. Now, one portable power generator that I personally have is the Jackery 1000 unit, and they were nice enough to send over a 240 unit so that I could show it to you right here. And this is actually going to be a great option for a lot of people out there who are looking for kind of the less power consumption. They don't have high draw needs in their rigs. Now this Jackery 1000 I bring with me on all of my different build sites because I actually charge all of my camera gear, my drone gear, my lighting, everything is powered off this Jackery so that all of my power tools and all of my different saws can run off of the actual outlets and plugs, and I don't have to overload any of those circuits. So the Jackery 1000 unit has its own 3 120 outlet plugs right here, which means you can power any of your 120 appliances by just simply plugging into these ports. It also has full USB ports with a 12-volt car jack outlet, a USB-C, 5 amp, and 2.4 amp standard USB outlet. Now this unit can be charged up in multiple different ways. It can be charged up with a solar panel, or you can just directly plug it into a residential house and it will actually charge back up the battery and then you'll be good to go. Now this unit does weigh 22 pounds, so it's not necessarily something you're going to be carrying to the top of a mountain, but it is a portable generator to get 100 amp hours of power anywhere that you need. So unlike the Jackery 1000, which weighs about 22 pounds, the Jackery 240 unit actually only weighs 6.6 pounds. And this is actually a really awesome unit because I've actually seen some friends who have these take them on hikes. They've actually taken them out to campgrounds, out to fireplaces, and these are really awesome units because these units actually power a full 24 amp hour battery, which means you can use it to, say, run a projector and watch a movie on the side of your van, or play some music and charge your batteries while you're sitting next to the campfire. And this is going to be a really awesome option because it's so lightweight. If you don't have a power plug or available power from your bus or van or rig, this is going to be a great option to get power in those locations that you wouldn't normally have it. Now the really nice thing about both these units is that they are full-in units, so instead of needing to buy an MPPT, an inverter, and battery systems, these are all-in-one units, which means all you need is the unit and a solar panel or a plug to charge it right back up, and you are good to go. The really cool thing about the Jackery Saga solar panel is that it actually comes with USB and USB-C ports already built in. So on the back of the actual solar panel, if you unzip the back pouch, you're actually going to find the USB and USB-C ports already built in. What this means is that you can actually just plug your cell phone directly into this unit and the solar panel is actually going to start charging it. You can also use the solar panels to charge up your Jackery unit and charge back up the lithium battery with the built-in cord. and then you're gonna be able to charge up your Jackery unit in just a few hours, depending on if you have the 240 or 1000 unit. Now, if you're interested in getting either of these units, because Jackery is sponsoring this video, they have given us a 10% off discount for anyone out there for the next following week. So if you're interested, make sure you look in the description below and get your Jackery 1000 and get that 10% discount before it expires. So now that we looked at the Jackery power system and we just talked about electricity, the most natural thing to talk about next is gonna be water systems. So right here I have a basic water system that many of you are gonna be installing into your rig, and it pretty much consists of a pre-filter, a water pump, an accumulator, and then an outlet, which right here I'm representing with a shower head. A lot of these components might be a little hard to actually understand how they're going to get installed into your rig. So since I just finished the cabinets in my personal school bus, I thought it might be a good idea to take these components out there and show you actually how I'm going to install them in the future to give you a better idea of how these components are used and what they're used for. Now that we're in the school bus, we can actually look at these components and inside of the actual cabinet that I just installed. So starting at the beginning of the water system, you're going to start with a water inlet. Now this right here is actually a dual inlet where it actually has a fast fill and actually a city fill, which would be a pressure fill. So then you can put a garden hose or an RV hose on this guy, and this would be the first way that you would get water into your bus or into your rig to actually start storing it. From this inlet, it would actually go on over to your water tank system, which is water tank in my case is actually going to end up hiding inside one of the kitchen cabinets. So this water tank will soon be installed inside this cabinet, and that will be where all my water is actually stored. Now from the water tank, it's actually going to go into a little bit of a three-part system for the actual pump. And that's going to be between the actual filter system, the water pump, and then the accumulator. Now the important thing here is that when I say water filter, this is not a filter in terms of giving you clean drinking water. What this is a pre-filter, which is going to make sure that no large particulates go into your actual 12-volt water pump, because any of those types of particulates or any type of grime that could be inside of your water can destroy your pump, because these pumps have very small parts and very small baffles inside of them. So you want to make sure that you put a pre-filter before the pump system. Now these pump systems, this one specifically is a 2.3 gallon per minute SureFlow pump. It just runs on a 12-volt plug, which just has a negative and positive wire. Once you plug it in, it will run on a pressure system, meaning whenever it feels that you're actually opened up a faucet, it's going to notice that and start running and then turn off when you turn the water completely off or close the faucet. Now in some cases, a lot of people will complain about water pumps sounding like they're throttling. They go brr, brr, brr every time you turn it on. And to prevent that, you can add one of these units, which is an accumulator. You probably have one in your house if you have a well system, but what this essentially does is it preloads the water, which creates a consistent pressure, so that when the water pump is running, it's going to flow into this unit, and then it's going to flow out at consistent pressure, which then gets rid of all of that noise and throttling that happens within 12-volt pumps. So you might want to consider putting one of these after your pump system, so that when you actually have the water flowing through, it's going to flow through smooth, and it's going to come out of your faucet just like it would in a residential house. The next set of products that I want to look at are within the 12-volt electrical systems. Now, we're not going to look at everything within 12-volt electrical because they can get very complicated in terms of the amount of components that we could be talking about. So what I want to start with is simply a fuse block and then look at some components that I found that are really cool and unique for your build that you might be able to use. Now, the first thing that you want to look at is going to be these 12-volt fuse blocks. Now, right here I have a 12-position one and a 6-position one. Now, all that really means is depending on how many 12-volt loads you have, you might need the larger one or the smaller one. One thing that I really like about these Blue Sea ones is that they actually have indicator lights on them, so that if these fuse blocks are in the back of a cabinet, you don't have to dig to the back of the cabinet to check your fuses to see if they're blown or something's not working. They actually have indicator lights, so you can just look into the cabinet. If the light's on, it means it's good. If the light's off, it means the load is bad. So it's really easy to check and know what's going on within your 12-volt systems. Now over here, I have some of the actual loads that we can be looking at. And right here, I actually have some deck lighting that I installed on my actual school bus. And these are just puck lights that are actually inset deck lights. These are very similar to puck lights with a lot of people put in their ceilings for lighting, but these simply will get plugged in through your DC loads, and these will provide great light inside or outside on any of your projects. Now, one of the really cool components that I've found and that I've used on a lot of different projects is actually this component right here, which is a 12-volt outlet. Now, this thing is actually going to fit within any normal residential box, but it actually provides you with 12-volt power to different USB ports. I installed these in a lot of my buses and a lot of my rigs that I've worked on because honestly, it just gives it a really clean look and also gives you a full ability to have 12-volt power and USB outlets all throughout your rig. So all the things that we previously talked about have been a lot to do with construction, building, electrical, plumbing, but there's one thing that we haven't really talked about and that some of you might actually be in this phase, or some of the people that you know that are bus builders right now might be looking to start doing, and that is demolition. Now, when you first get your school bus or you start getting your van or anything, you're gonna have to start getting it ready for conversion. So the first thing you're gonna do is get together all of your demo tools so that you're ready to go. So some of the demo tools that I usually use and that I found that I use on every single project that I work on is a ratchet set. If you don't have a good ratchet set, you're definitely going to want to pick one up because all of these are going to help you get all the seat bolts out, get any mechanical parts out, fix up anything on the engine, and a ratchet set is going to be a must-have on any build project. So a couple other really cool tools that you might want to look into are things like a scraper and a heat gun. And the reason why these are going to be really helpful is because when you get any type of commercial vehicle or any type of bus or van or whatnot, it doesn't matter what it is, they're most likely going to have stickers and decals all over it, and a scraper and a heat gun are going to make your life a whole heck of a lot easier to get all of those off. Now, one of the other big suggestions that I'm sure that you're going to run into or need is going to actually be a grinder. So if you don't have a grinder, you might want to look into picking up one of these because it's going to help you be able to get all of your rusty parts out, any seat bolts that are stuck, grind out any metal that's in the way of your construction, and a grinder is going to be one of your best friends during any build project. Now, one of my favorite tools when doing demo is actually this vinyl eraser wheel. Now, you can use a heat gun and a scraper to get them off, but this wheel right here is actually going to help you demo so much faster. And the reason is because this simply has a chuck on it that you can screw into any drill, and once you have it into your actual drill, you can just go right on in and erase all the decals right off of your school bus. This eraser wheel, when you put a little bit of pressure up against it and it spins very quickly, it just erases literally off the decals and can speed up your demo process a lot. This is definitely a must-have for anyone who's looking to build a school bus because this is going to save you so much time. Now, gutting a school bus and doing all the demo work can definitely be a really hard part of the project, but with the right tools, it can definitely make your job a lot easier and a lot faster, which then you can start getting into the part that everyone wants, which is starting to put it back together and building your home. Now we've gone through the 5 different systems that are the solar, electrical, water, cabinets, and deconstruction, and hopefully you found something through this system that maybe you'd want to get for yourself or the bus builder in your life. So if you're interested in any of the products that we discussed in this video, make sure you check out the links in the description where everything is going to be itemized so you can check it out right there and look into different products and where you can get them. Also, make sure that if you're interested in the Jackery 1000, that for the next week, there is a 10% off coupon so you can get your 240 or 1000 at a discount. So make sure you go check that out down in the description below as well. Now, lastly, if all these components are really interesting but you want more information, I recently put together a tools guide, which is on my website, and you can go download that if you're interested in getting more information about all the different tools and a little bit more detail about each one specifically. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it gave you some gift ideas for the bus builder in your life or yourself. And in the next video, we're going to be doing edge banding, putting the fireplace cabinets in, and keeping the bus build moving along. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.